What if I told you that you could change the direction of your life in just 5 minutes a day? No complicated routines, no waiting for years, just 5 focused minutes to align your thoughts, emotions, and identity. Most people work hard but see little progress because their mind isn't clear or aligned. This simple daily practice resets your internal thermostat, sharpens your focus, and helps you recognize opportunities you've been missing. If you want to learn how a small daily discipline can turn into massive results, stay with me till the end of this video. Clarity creates power because the mind responds to precision, not confusion. When a person is unclear about what they want, their thoughts scatter in many directions, weakening focus and delaying results. Clear intention acts like a compass, guiding thoughts, emotions, and actions toward a specific outcome. 5 minutes of focused clarity each day trains the mind to concentrate on what truly matters instead of reacting to distractions, fears, or doubts. During this time, the brain begins to organize priorities, filter unnecessary noise, and strengthen belief in the chosen direction. Clarity also reduces internal conflict because when the goal is clearly defined, decisions become easier and hesitation fades. Energy that was once wasted on uncertainty is redirected into purposeful effort. Opportunities that were previously overlooked start to stand out because the mind is now conditioned to recognize anything aligned with the intention. This daily practice builds mental discipline, teaching the individual to think deliberately rather than emotionally. Over time, clarity shapes confidence because knowing exactly what you want removes guesswork and replaces it with certainty. When the mind is clear, effort becomes efficient, actions gain momentum, and progress feels natural rather than forced. Small daily disciplines compound because consistency has a multiplying effect that intensity alone cannot match. When a simple habit is practiced every day, it quietly reshapes thinking, behavior, and outcomes over time. 5 minutes of focused effort may seem too small to matter, but when repeated without interruption, it builds momentum that grows stronger with each passing day. Daily action trains the mind to value progress over perfection and removes the pressure of doing everything at once. This approach reduces resistance because the task feels manageable and easy to begin. As discipline becomes part of the routine, confidence increases and self-trust develops. The brain starts to associate success with consistency rather than motivation, making it easier to stay committed even on low-energy days. Small actions also prevent burnout, allowing growth to happen sustainably instead of in exhausting bursts. Over time, these repeated disciplines create a compounding effect similar to interest, where results accelerate as habits become deeply ingrained. What begins as a minor daily practice eventually shapes identity, influencing decisions, standards, and expectations. Consistency turns ordinary actions into extraordinary outcomes by allowing progress to build quietly and powerfully over time. Thoughts set the thermostat because the mind establishes a standard for what feels normal and acceptable in life. Just like a thermostat regulates temperature, dominant thoughts regulate the level of success, abundance, and happiness a person allows themselves to experience. When someone consistently thinks in terms of limitation, their actions unconsciously align with those limits, keeping results within a familiar range. A daily 5-minute practice helps reset this internal setting by deliberately choosing empowering thoughts instead of habitual ones. Repeated exposure to positive, expansive thinking gradually replaces old mental patterns that were formed through past experiences or conditioning. As the internal standard rises, behavior naturally adjusts to match it, leading to better choices and greater confidence. The mind begins to reject opportunities that feel too small and becomes comfortable with larger possibilities. This shift is subtle but powerful because it works from the inside out. When thoughts change consistently, emotional responses change as well, reinforcing the new standard. Over time, what once felt unrealistic starts to feel normal, and what once felt impossible begins to seem achievable. By consciously setting thoughts each day, a person gains control over the level of abundance they permit into their life. Emotion fuels attraction because feeling gives life to thought, and turns intention into a powerful internal signal. A thought on its own is only an idea, but when emotion is added, it becomes an experience the mind begins to accept as real. When a person feels gratitude, certainty, or excitement while focusing on a desire, the brain responds as if progress is already happening. This emotional state influences posture, tone of voice, decisions, and reactions, all of which shape outcomes. Positive emotion also strengthens belief, and belief reduces doubt, hesitation, and internal resistance. When emotion aligns with intention, the subconscious mind becomes engaged, guiding behavior automatically rather than through forced effort. Daily emotional engagement conditions the nervous system to expect good results instead of preparing for disappointment. Over time, this expectation changes how challenges are interpreted, making setbacks feel temporary rather than personal. Emotion also sharpens awareness, allowing a person to notice opportunities that match their emotional frequency. When feelings are consistent, actions become consistent as well. The combination of focused thought and elevated emotion creates momentum, turning ordinary visualization into a practical force that influences choices, habits, and responses in everyday life. Identity shapes results because behavior always follows self-image. People do not consistently act beyond who they believe they are, even if they consciously desire better outcomes. When someone sees themselves as limited, undeserving, or incapable, their decisions quietly reinforce that belief. A daily manifestation practice works by reshaping identity through repetition and focus. Spending 5 minutes affirming abundance and success trains the mind to accept a new version of self as normal. As this identity strengthens, choices begin to change automatically without force or struggle. Standards rise, excuses lose power, and self-respect increases. The individual starts to expect more from themselves and from life, which influences how they speak, plan, and respond to challenges. Identity also determines what opportunities feel appropriate. When someone believes they deserve abundance, they no longer ignore or sabotage chances for growth. Over time, the gap between who they are and who they want to become begins to close. This shift is subtle but lasting because identity operates beneath motivation and emotion. When self-image changes, effort feels natural, confidence becomes stable, and results align with the person one consistently believes themselves to be. Action follows alignment because when the mind, emotions, and self-image are in harmony, effort no longer feels forced. Many people struggle not because they lack ability, but because their thoughts and feelings are working against their goals. A daily manifestation practice. E brings internal alignment by focusing the mind on clarity, strengthening belief, and reinforcing a confident identity. When alignment is present, actions emerge naturally and consistently without the need for constant motivation. Decisions become easier because doubt and inner conflict are reduced. The individual begins to take small, meaningful steps that move them forward, often without overthinking. This alignment sharpens awareness, allowing opportunities to be recognized at the right moment instead of being overlooked. It also improves timing because actions are taken with confidence rather than hesitation. When behavior aligns with intention, results accelerate not through luck, but through improved choices and persistence. Aligned action builds momentum, and momentum builds belief, creating a self-reinforcing cycle of progress. Over time, manifestation stops feeling like a mental exercise and becomes a practical way of living. Success becomes the natural outcome of inner order, where thoughts guide feelings and feelings guide action in a steady, purposeful direction.